I flew across the country to come to this museum in Hollywood for one reason. I am so excited. Hey man fam, I am in Hollywood at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures. This museum opened up in 2021 and it has been on my bucket list since they announced it for one reason and one reason only. They have the real shark from Jaws in here. They have a bunch of artifacts, costumes, props, and all kinds of things from other movies too, but for me, it's all about Bruce. But we're gonna go explore the museum. I'm so excited right now. Okay, let's just go. Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, here we come. Going into the Saban building. Not like Nick Saban, right? All right, going to check in. They do request that you book tickets in advance just so they can help with spacing in the museum. So I bought my ticket online, it was $25. You can add on a $15 like Oscar experience. I did not do that. All checked in. Unfortunately, some of the galleries are closed today as they swap out different exhibits, including the animation gallery, which I was excited about, but as long as Bruce is here, I'll be happy. Starting my tour here in Stories of Cinema. This is a 3-floor exhibition. Stories of Cinema 1 features immersive installation that travels through the very beginning of film to groundbreaking movies of present day. As the sound moves from screen to screen, it invites unexpected connections and underscores the idea of a global creative dialogue among filmmakers. It's a 13-minute multi-channel presentation. Cool. And around I'm seeing QR codes too you can scan.
But if you're hard to get a go for you. It's Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween.
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
Snap out of it!
Okay, I love this gallery. I just stayed to watch the whole 13-minute thing because I love a montage. It's literally why I watch the Oscars. But it's funny because right when I got in there, I was in there for like 30 seconds and then Jaws came on, so. But it was really cool. It was like multiple screens. They were double-sided and they all had clips playing the entire time, but one of them would have sound and it would jump from movie to movie. It went through time, so it progressed. I saw clips from Steamboat Willie, from the original Gertie the Dinosaur, which is what the Hollywood Studios dinosaur is themed after. I saw clips from Casablanca, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Jaws, Beauty and the Beast, Jurassic Park, Field of Dreams, Ghostbusters. Like, my brain doesn't remember all the movies I just saw clips of because it was like 100 years of cinema. From what I know about this museum, Bruce is hanging from the ceiling. I've just seen pictures of it, so I'm like consistently looking up. Okay, he's not on this level. You should feel my anxiety. Like, my heart was pounding coming up the escalator because I think what's gonna happen is I'm gonna just like come up an escalator and he's gonna be there. Head into this little standalone gallery, which is about background art, and there is a movie set from a Hitchcock film in here, talking about painted backdrops, and they're often enhanced with props, but the one we're about to see, IRL, is from North by Northwest, the Hitchcock film, and the Mount Rushmore backdrop they used. So you can see all of these different storyboards and photos from the film, and then right behind me is the backdrop set used in the movie. I mean, this thing is huge. It's just amazing to me when you think about how much artistry and work goes into a single movie, and it really makes you appreciate especially movies prior to current technology where they didn't have CGI, they had to do everything with practical effects. I have been sitting and reading like every single plaque, so it's taking me forever to get through here, but I definitely recommend coming in the middle of the week if you can. There's like no one here. All right, we are on to Stories of Cinema 2. So this is the continuation of the exhibit I was looking at downstairs. Stories of Cinema 2. Now, some of this exhibit is under construction. They're changing out the exhibits, but I walked into the Academy Awards moment and they have real Oscars in here. Oh my gosh. The real engraved ones. Oh, there's Clark Gable's for It Happened One Night, 1934. Isn't that amazing? Wow. Has anyone seen Nicolas Cage? Because Hattie McDaniel's for Gone with the Wind is missing, and I can only assume that the National Treasure people have been here. Sunset Boulevard, Gigi, not the Ben Affleck one. Here's Gregory Peck's from To Kill a Mockingbird. Wow. Here's the visual effects one for Star Wars. and sound effects for E.T. I wonder why these like aren't in their homes. I would have it prominently displayed in my home, and I would make everyone that came into my home look at it. I'm gonna send a picture of this one to Alan. It's for Shrek, best animated picture. Alan's a big Shrekkie. Gravity and Moonlight. Wow. As I look at all of these closely and take videos and pictures of them, it's really interesting how they've changed. Like the statue has changed. Here's Clark Gable's from 1934, the engravings down at the bottom, but it's also like around the kind of round platform that the Oscar's standing on. And then this is 1946. It goes to this, like, the plaque is part of the platform. And that kind of remains the same through the more modern ones, but these are much shinier. So I assume they're made out of a different material. But I do think they're real gold, or they have gold on them. They're playing iconic Oscar speeches throughout history. They've got Halle Berry up here and Jessica Yu, and I just watched Steven Spielberg finally win Best Director for Schindler's List. And I am so cheesy. I love award shows. There's a lot of fault with award shows and the Oscars, but I love seeing people in the best moment of their life, just like so grateful and like just overwhelmed by the gratitude and the reaction from the crowd and being celebrated for being the best, and very disturbing. So I'm already dramatically crying at Steven Spielberg tear up during his acceptance speech. So.
This moment is for Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, Diane Carroll. It's for the women that stand beside me, Jada Pinkett, Angela Bassett, Vivica Fox, and it's for every nameless, faceless woman of color that now has a chance because his door tonight has been opened.
Along with iconic Oscar looks like Halle Berry's, in these little cases, they've got envelopes revealing the winners. They've got copies of invitations. My favorite thing I found so far is this letter from Barbra Streisand to Katharine Hepburn regarding their tie for Funny Girl and The Lion in the Winter. And it says, "Dear Kate, I feel I should still call you Miss Hepburn. How very nice of you to send me such a lovely note. I too am honored to share this with you, but you have to have such a wonderful singing voice as well. With much admiration, Barbara."
Well, the time has come.
How fun that they have this stuff.
Catherine, pick up.
Next exhibit is a director's inspiration on Agnes Varda. It's my understanding that this is the type of exhibit they will swap out and rotate to different filmmakers, but Agnes Varda was a female filmmaker who I personally not familiar with much of her work, but I enjoy looking at any exhibit and props and old things. It's amazing to just look at the old film strips and the old photographs and learn, look at these concept arts and the color palettes that they're using for this different work. These film strips are from the 60s, so it's just amazing that they have all this stuff that you can look for. Moving along in our Art of Cinema exhibit, we're talking about story now and talking about storyboarding, and I just read that storyboarding is considered to originate at the Disney Studios in the 30s and is now an integral aspect of visioning a film. I'm not surprised that storyboarding started at Disney, but I didn't know that, so that's really neat. They're highlighting a couple films in here, including The Birds, the Hitchcock movie, which I deeply relate to, being afraid of birds. The storyboards are just so amazing, and then it's coupled with notes right here. Handwritten by Alfred Hitchcock, there are his notes on the crow sequence. I feel like Moira Rose would really enjoy this moment.
I know a bit of their language.
And finishing in another little Hitchcock manner, this is the typewriter used by the screenwriter for Psycho, Joseph Stefano. God, this stuff's so cool. We're now in an exhibit about The Godfather, which I'm going to admit something right now. I've never seen The Godfather, any of the Godfather movies. I understand they're some of the most iconic movies of all time. I understand to a certain generation they are the best movies of all time, but I've never seen them. I probably should, but I haven't. However, I can appreciate that we are looking at costumes and props and a variety of different filmmaking aspects of one of the most iconic films of all time. Look at this. Even I can appreciate this. This is Francis Ford Coppola's copy of The Godfather. And then this is his Godfather notebook. So he took each page of a copy of The Godfather and he put it into this notebook, and then look at all these notes. He's got marks and X's and red lines, and he's just ripping it up ready to put it on film. Continuing the Story of Cinema exhibit, there's one on performance now. This is all about casting. Oh my gosh, this is Elliot from E.T., and I've seen this clip before because Spielberg gives him the job on the spot. Gate kid, you got the job. Do I need to watch E.T. now? No, you know what I'm going to watch when I get home is there's this documentary on HBO about Steven Spielberg. It's fascinating. It's so amazing. Going to watch that when I get home. Maybe that's my plain entertainment tomorrow. Goodbye, E.T. What's really fascinating me right now are these Polaroids. These are from 1990 to 1996, and they're some of Hollywood's biggest names. They're casting Polaroids. Look at this. First thing, young Leo, hello. Pamela Anderson. I actually just watched the documentary about her on Netflix last night. It was really good. What a life she's lived. Laura Dern, Marky Mark, Benicio del Toro, Alicia Silverstein, J-Lo. This is so cool. A young Brad Pitt. I mean, think about how photos have changed since then. Like, look at Ice-T's. It's all washed out, and like, it's a terrible Polaroid. But these are so cool. Lawrence Fishburne. Oh, Jessica Alba. Like, oh, so cool. LOL, I know one of the quotes from the movie that just happened because of You've Got Mail.
What?
There's people in the comments screaming that I've never seen these movies, I'm sure. We've got the office of the Corleone family.
Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me.
I can appreciate how cool this is. This is very, very cool that this is all here. Also, I just spotted something out of the corner of my eye that I need to take a moment to discuss. A graphic warning for a moment while I show this next thing. One of the reasons I've never seen this movie is because I know, also spoiler alert for the Godfather movie I've never seen, I know because I live in this society and I know things about pop culture, I know that at one point somebody's mad at somebody else and they cut their horse's head off and they put it in their bed. And that's one of the reasons I've never seen The Godfather, because I rode horses growing up. I had 2 horses growing up. I don't like that. I have issues with The Patriot and Game of Thrones when they kill horses. Anyway, the horse head is here. So, not loving that. The thing is, it's pretty realistic until you get to the gory part. I feel like the gore's not that realistic. So I read and I learned that this was used during rehearsals and that no horses were killed for the making of the film, but a real horse head was used from a local slaughterhouse for the actual film. So, neat. Well, I think that's enough about The Godfather. We're now in a costume exhibit, which is much more my speed. Just want to highlight a few of my favorites. First of all, I love the costume section. I could look at costumes and clothes forever because I just think it's so fascinating to look at the different textures of the patterns and to also like see how small the people were. Like this is Katharine Hepburn's, and look how teeny tiny that waist is. Oh my gosh. This is also from Ben-Hur. And Elizabeth Taylor wore that one. James Dean wore this one. This is Julia Roberts' costume from Mirror Mirror. A couple other I saw that I was really excited about. This is Viola Davis as Ma Rainey in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Glenn Close costume, but maybe the most important costume in here. This is Meryl Streep's costume from Mamma Mia.
It's always repeating itself.
Hello. Nathan Lane from The Birdcage. This is Leonardo DiCaprio for Man in the Iron Mask, and it's got me wondering how tall Leonardo DiCaprio is, because this is raised, and he has heels, so like, is he not that tall? I thought he was like pretty tall. Anyway, maybe the most important costume in here though. It's either Mamma Mia, or it's David Bowie from Labyrinth. Some wigs in here as well, and the one I was drawn to immediately, of course, is Robin Williams from Mrs. Doubtfire.
She's got a power tool in the bedroom, dear.
We've also got Beetlejuice right here. Ooh, this is interesting. It's about how movies have the ability to shed a spotlight on cultural situations and public awareness. So we're looking at documentary moments like An Inconvenient Truth, Black Lives Matter, labor relations. That montage was really good. I got a list of stories I want to watch. Powerful stuff. All right, I see another escalator, and I wonder if my boy's waiting for me at the top of this one. There's another gallery right here, but we don't have time. I mean, we do, but not right now. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. He's huge. Okay, I'm gonna try and be a normal person now who's not crying about a mechanical shark. This is Bruce. Clearly the reason I came here. This is the 4th shark they made from the film. All of them were cast from the same mold, so the original mold. The first 3 were destroyed, and this is the only surviving model, and someone found it in a junkyard, which is just like wild. And a fun story about me is I once went on a deep dive Google research to find out what happened to the sharks because I wanted to see one. And it said that they'd all been destroyed except for this one, and it lived in a junkyard, and like they showed what it looked like from the junkyard, and I thought, oh, that's too bad, I'll never see it. But I'm seeing it, and it's here, and I can't believe it. They restored him beautifully. I mean, look at the detail on this thing. So the original production designer was Joe Alves. He's a genius, and it took 14 people to run the sharks, and the sharks historically didn't work. Jaws was a huge time suck. It was a huge money suck. Everyone was mad at Steven Spielberg. It took like 3 times as long, 3 times as much money to make it because the shark wouldn't work. But that's actually what made Jaws one of the most successful and one of the best horror films of all time, because it's the fact that you didn't see the shark that made it scary. You actually don't see the shark until about 2/3 of the way into the movie is when you actually see Bruce's head jump out of the water as Chief Brody is chumming the water, and that's when you hit the famous line, "You're gonna need a bigger boat."
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yes, it's "you're gonna need a bigger boat," not "we're gonna need a bigger boat." Common misconception. But this was a real mechanical shark. It wasn't CGI. It was practical effects mixed with real shark footage from shark filmographers and conservationists, Valerie Taylor and her husband, and they got some incredible shots that they actually like redid part of the plot in the book. Hooper dies, but they got some incredible footage of a shark that got caught in a cage when they were shark diving in Australia, and they wanted to use it because it was so incredible, but in the story Hooper's still in the cage, so they actually rewrote the end of Jaws so that Hooper wasn't in the cage anymore, so that they could use this incredible real shark footage. And no one cares this much about this movie, but I do, so I'm gonna keep rambling about it, and the editors probably unfortunately having to listen to all this. You can see all the detail on him right here. You can see the scar down his face from when he gets poked and prodded by Quint. You can see all these other scars just because he's a big boy living in the world. Wow, look at the teeth. Oh my God, just look at all the detail on him. I'm gonna ride this escalator up and down 28 times now to look at every angle of him, excuse me. Okay, literally 12 escalator rides later, I'm going to continue my quest. I believe this is the background art exhibit again, but from the top, so you can truly see how big it is. Yeah, that's big. This next exhibit is called The Path to Cinema, so it's talking about how we went from things like moving lanterns and paintings and peep shows, not those kind of peep shows, to cinema. So there's some really, really old stuff in here. Like some of this glass is from 1820. If you watched our New York City video when we went to the Museum of Natural History, you know I have a hard time wrapping my mind around like how old things are. Like look at this. Okay, look at this horse and this circus scene. And then if the light were to spin, it would make it look like it's moving. That's actually how they did some of the earliest animation too. This is so cool. This stuff is so old. Wow. Ooh, little shadow puppet moment. Thumbs up. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper. Wait. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. A bunny. A monster, a dog, a monster. Okay, that's all I can do. Gonna continue on with our main exhibit that we've been watching, the story of cinema. But hi again, Bruce. Just had to say hi to him again because I'm something. All right, I see a droid. So from the invention of film in 1895 that we just learned about, all the way to the modern age, we're now talking about the future of cinema. And so it feels like, yes, this is a very like sci-fi heavy prop moment, hence probably why Bruce is out there. This is from the Dark Crystal. I'm not as enamored with that guy as I am with this little one. It's the real R2-D2. Meet Mom. Wow. Don't worry, his trusty sidekick C-3PO is here too. There's lots of cool props in here. I think this is the bunny from Donnie Darko. Terror warning, I guess. A nightmare! I am also very into the fact that Okoye's costume is here from Black Panther. What else can we find? Oh, the xenomorph from Alien. Scary. Spacesuit from 2001: A Space Odyssey. This is also from 2001: A Space Odyssey. We got highlights from Blade Runner. Is this Edward Scissorhands? Oh my god, it is. Look, it's Edward Scissorhands, including his scissor hands. This museum is already a treasure to me, but I'd really love something from Lord of the Rings. Oh, Gary Oldman's Dracula costume. I'll take that. Sirius Black. A little different look than those old Azkaban robes, am I right? What size do we think these boots are? Because those are fantastic. Oh my gosh, this is Wayne Manor from Batman Returns. My dream came true. It's an orc from Lord of the Rings. He's really attractive. Whoa, this is wild. Peter Jackson decided no two orcs could be the same, so there were 10,000 different orc costumes created for the trilogy. That is wild. Let's see, we've got the Terminator. I'll be back. No. I don't know, I've not seen the Terminator. Did that sound good? Pretty good animatronic though. And this is from the Dark Crystal. Hey, this one's cool too. I think this is Shape of Water. Yes, this is from the Shape of Water. This is very cool to see all this stuff. Besides Bruce, I think this is my favorite exhibit yet. A T-Rex. This is from Jurassic Park. Yes. It says this armature was a precursor of today's motion capture and performance captures apparatuses. Bridging the digital and physical, the encoders affixed to each joint made the animatronic move. Because it was a real animatronic. They built a real T-Rex for Jurassic Park. Not wild. You've also got, oh, this is from Avatar. Zoe Saldana's face for mapping. Okay, this next exhibit is about sound. It's about different music and how the score and the music and what you hear really impacts the film. It's a really dark experience, and it says please don't use external light such as cell phones. So I'm gonna shut off for a second and I'll be right back. Yeah, this exhibit's definitely my favorite. The sound experience was a very dark room, and they played different scores to kind of make you feel different emotions just with listening and not with seeing anything. As someone who loves a good movie score, it's one of my favorite parts of movies. I love movie score trivia. Guess what it is? I really enjoyed that. And now we are up to the next floor to see Bruce again. Just kidding. I'm gonna go continue exploring the museum, but it doesn't hurt the fact that I get to ride under Bruce again. I'm just simply obsessed with him. I mean, isn't that amazing though? Like, isn't that amazing that they used this mechanical shark? Think about movies now. Think about monster movies now. I watch a lot of bad shark movies because I love a good, like, B movie based on sharks. Santa Jaws was one I recently enjoyed, and they all use bad CGI. Next exhibit I'm going into is Regeneration, which is about black cinema. Let's see. It contains violent imagery and racist depictions that may not be suitable. Okay, please use discretion. I will use discretion also with what I'm showing on camera, but they do have that warning out here. Wow, I did not expect to see this stuff in a movie museum. The exhibit is starting with 4 people who understood the power of film and storytelling, and they have actual artifacts from Sojourner Truth, Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, and W.E.B. Du Bois. Wow, I am learning a lot, and I love learning, and I'm always trying to learn more things. But I didn't realize that from most of the teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s, there were black studios made to make movies starring black actors because they weren't being represented in mainstream media. So there's not a lot left from a lot of these companies, it says, but there are movie posters and a couple props, including this camera, which was from a white production company called Norman Productions, which was one of the first companies to feature black actors. And then you've also got these cowboy boots from 1937. Oh my gosh, they're so old. From a film called Harlem on the Prairie. Taking it one step further, there were movie theaters that were segregated, which unfortunately doesn't surprise me, but I didn't realize that there were movie theaters owned by black individuals that showed these race films. So if you look at this map right here, it's showing where different race film production companies and theaters were. Learning more about jazz and music and film once sound was able to be used in films in the 20s, syndicated sound. And they actually have Louis Armstrong's trumpet. Wow, I just love looking at stuff like this. Costumes from Sammy Davis Jr. and Lena Horne. You've got the dancers' costumes and the tap shoes from the Nicholas brothers. Here's stuff from Hattie McDaniel. Amazing. Learned quite a bit in the Black Cinema exhibit. Now headed across the Barbra Streisand Bridge because I was told the terrace out here has a beautiful view. And it does. And, oh, look, it's far, far away. We can see the Hollywood sign. That's cool. Well, I have scoured the whole museum, so there's only two things left to do. One, go to the store, obviously. And two, they have a cute little cafe here called Fannie's, as in Fannie Bryce from Funny Girl, and I'm starving, so might as well grab a little snack here. There is one thing in particular I saw online that motivated me to come to this museum more than I already wanted to. I thought, if I go to this museum on my next trip to California and this item isn't there, I will cry 1,000 tears. So let's see what we have here. Tons of stuff. This Foden Home ET stuff is really cool. Ooh, I think this might be it. I think this might be it. No, that's not. That was a fake out. No, here it is. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. How much stuff am I gonna buy? Look at this crew neck sweatshirt. It's the mechanics of Bruce the Shark. I'm sorry. This is the coolest sweatshirt of all time. Now I'm just praying they have an extra large. Yes, I like a cozy sweatshirt. I'm gonna get an extra large. Oh my god. I'm so happy. I'm literally so happy right now. Amazing. But they also have a print. Should I get the print for my office? I'm definitely getting the postcard, but do I want the print too? There's a tote with it on there too, and a t-shirt. I have a lot of Jaws t-shirts. I don't have a lot of Jaws sweatshirts, so I'm getting the crew neck. Designing Jaws by Joe Alves. I'm gonna order that on Amazon because I can get it a lot cheaper than $39. I'm gonna look. I lied, it's the same price, but then I don't have to put it in a suitcase. Do I want this print for my office? It's pretty awesome. No, I'm gonna get the postcard and the sweatshirt. There is some other cool stuff in here too. There's Studio Ghibli stuff. There's Spike Lee items. There's a bunch of Godfather stuff over here. But there's only one souvenir for me. The Film Pin Society. Is this a thing? Are pins a thing that are not just at Disney World? Interesting. There's tons of Godfather stuff. And then a bunch of books and posters and things. So a very cool gift shop. But specifically because of this Jaws sweatshirt. Fannie's is actually quite cute. I've never been to a museum dining room that's so cute. It's got a full bar as well as some specialty cocktails. They've got a coffee bar, pastries, sandwiches, salads. I have not eaten today, so I just grabbed a latte and a caprese quiche. And I'm sure there's people that are like, Molly, you're in LA, you could eat a million places. Why are you eating in a museum lobby? Well, I'm going to another cool experience in a little bit, and I don't really have time to go anywhere else, but I'm excited to try this caprese quiche and have a little brunch at 2 in the afternoon. That's actually a pretty good quiche. It's crispy on the top, really fluffy egg, lots of cheese, fresh basil, tomato. I have no complaints. I also don't have any complaints about a latte. Overall, I had a great time exploring this museum. Obviously, the highlight for me was seeing Bruce the Shark from Jaws. That's been on my bucket list since before they were refurbishing Bruce the Shark from Jaws. I've always wanted to see him, so that was like truly an iconic moment for me. I loved exploring all these different exhibits. I loved this one at the beginning with the montages and the different music connecting. I loved the exhibit with all of the kind of sci-fi and fantastical creatures from Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Marvel and Shape of Water. I really enjoyed the Academy Award exhibit, seeing the actual Oscars and costumes. You know, I was surprised by the Godfather exhibit. I loved seeing the Hollywood sign. I liked learning more in the Black Cinema exhibit. Like, I just love museums and I love pop culture, so I think this was so fun. Obviously, I'm bummed the animation exhibit was closed while I'm here, but that just means I get to come back. If you're in California and you're a film buff, I definitely think this museum is worth checking out. It took me a couple hours today to get through everything. I go slower than an average person though because I'm filming and I read every single plaque, so I think you could do it in just a couple of hours, especially on a weekday like today where it's not very busy. But there's so much to do in Hollywood and in California, and it's not convenient to come here from Disneyland, but if you're in actual LA, I think this is really cool if you're a pop culture or movie fan. Well, friends, thank you for coming to the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures with me. I had so much fun. We'll not forget this day for a long time. Let us know what other kinds of adventures you want to see. In the meantime, friends, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, follow us on social. And until next time, I'm Molly, and it's been magical. Should I go look up Bruce some more? The museum's open till 6.